So, today marks 5 years of me being an entrepreneur. On January the 6th, 2017 was day one of what is fast forward to be now and today. I sit back. I actually, during prayer and my affirmations this morning, after meditation, I was actually saying a prayer for, I'll just spill the beans, for my deceased ex's aunt, because she asked me to pray for her. And during the middle of me praying for her and then me doing my affirmations following that, I just cried. And the only thing that I could think of in my tears was goodness. The goodness of this journey. Last year, I probably would have still been grumbling and griping. I'm not where I desire to be, but I'm always one step closer to my goal. Last year, in terms of revenue, was my biggest year yet. And to know that net worth after taxes, working my quote unquote good government job, as me and my mama called it, because I was making over $46,000 as an administrative coordinator for the Chief of Staff, Legislative Affairs, and Office of Communication for South Carolina State Medicaid. I had a really good job. My head boss, the Chief of Staff, he trained me and taught me how to be like a little junior lobbyist. Then cause administrative coordinator, aka I was a glorified secretary. Okay, let's not get that twisted. But he trained me to be like a little junior lobbyist, and I learned so much from him. I became a legislative recorder. I got to sit down at the State House, watch the bills come through. We were looking for healthcare bills, of course, because Medicaid is healthcare. But that job trained me to be in the cannabis industry and advocate for cannabis. I'm also a certified paralegal, and I did that as an intern, because I started out as an intern with the agency. Then I got hired because my boss became chief of staff from his job. He got an upgrade. Then I was in another department after I interned from him, as a little intern, working hourly, getting paid by the hour. And he was like, "Hey, yo, kid, you want a job?" He was like, we need an assistant. Come on. So he put me on, but he knew that I was more than just a person to sit at my desk. I proved that to him. And that's how my first year I made $30,000. Within 8 months, I went from $30,000 to $46,000. Yeah. So it was a nice little jump. I worked my tail off. It was easy work, and it was easy because I liked it. It went with law. I was supposed to go to law school, never went. That's a whole nother story for a different day. However, being in that job taught me a lot. And on my last day, I never forget, January 5th, 2017, I threw myself. My own team, they were just going to take me to lunch. I was like, no, I want to go on a away party. Guess what? I got my going away party. And to backtrack before I get to the going away party, which is in my post, this post, budget cuts. 2016, I never forget, I got this. I just graduated massage school. Like literally the next day, they called me in the office, like, "Hey, look, we got to talk to you about some stuff." So they had a conversation with me. And then in having that conversation with me, that's when I got this summer project, quote unquote summer project. I got stripped of all my duties. And I stayed in my office. Pretty much. I didn't get to go to the State House. I couldn't do all that fun stuff that I was doing before. Like, I got stripped. And one of my teammates, he used to come to my office and call me Cinderella. "Hey, Cinderella. How you doing, Cinderella?" And I was miserable, y'all. So miserable. And I never forget, it was in October 2016. I was having a low, bad day. And I heard this voice say to me, because as I was walking to my office, my corner office, I was one of those administrative assistants or administrative coordinators who didn't have an adjoining office with their bosses. Mine was separate from all of them. I had my own corner office. I could look down Main Street. I could look out my window and there was City Hall. Oh, yeah. I had a great gig. It was great experience. But I was miserable. I was depressed. I was depressed before I got that. That's a whole nother story for a different day too. Stay tuned for that shit. But yeah, I just remember October 2016, me walking to my office. It was right after lunch. And I was miserable that day. And I had been miserable since they gave me that project because I felt personally attacked. Because the reason why I got that project was I found out that there were budget cuts coming. We were getting a new governor because guess what? We had a new president. 45 was coming into office, and I just felt like I had a target on my back. The climate was really tense. The political climate was very, very tense, coming from Governor Nikki Haley, who I actually liked. And that's how I learned to become independent in terms of politics and not just one versus the other. And plus, my degree. I'm a communications major. I have a communications degree. My concentration is not in journalism. No, boo. It's in political rhetoric and persuasion. Ooh, look at there. Why didn't I go to law school? Stay tuned for that. But political climate was very tense. That's when Sandra Bland, Dylan Roof, a lot of that was going on. That was right. I think that was around the time Dylan Roof had already happened. A lot of, that was the beginning of, the whole police brutality. We're seeing corrupt politics. 45 came into office, all of that, right? And I just felt like I had a target on my back. Budget cuts came. Me being the only little black girl on my team. Being one of four black women on that floor as an administrative coordinator. Being the youngest out of the black four. I was the youngest on my immediate team. So with all that being said, I felt like I had a target on my back. I felt personally attacked. So got all the duties stripped, boom, 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 whatever, what have you. I remember on that day, October 2016, as I'm walking to my office, I hear this voice say, "Let this place go." And I stopped. And I'm like, what? Okay, I kept walking. Then I heard that voice say it again, "Let this place go." So I stopped and I looked around. I said, I know we ain't got no intercoms up in here. What the is going on up in here? But I knew what that voice was because I've heard that voice before. That same voice told me to go to law school and I ain't listen. So I walked closer, and as I got closer to my office, that voice said, "Let this place go." And I stopped right before I got to my office. And I was actually standing in the doorway of my boss's office, my head boss's office. He wasn't there at the time. I think it was at a meeting. And I said, God, and as I'm closing my eyes, standing there, I'm remembering that moment, and I did this. I said, God, I just bought a house. What am I going to do? I didn't have a plan, no nothing. I said, God, what am I going to do? I don't want to lose my house. What am I going to do? Mind you, I was already a certified massage therapist by that point because I had graduated months before that in July of 2016. God said, let this place go. You're not going to lose your home. Let this place go. So I stopped. I was still stopped at that point. I was just still standing there. I took a deep breath and I walked to my office and I said, okay. Took me a couple weeks to digest that because it lingered for a long time. Then I finally came up with a date, like November. Like in November, I came up with a date. It wasn't until December I told them that date. And I let them know in December, like right around Christmas time. I said to them, January 5th, 2017 is going to be my last day. And that's when I submitted my letter. And January 5th, 2017 was sure enough my last day there. At the time, I was very angry. I was bitter. Budget cuts. See, they couldn't just fire me because when you work for state government and you got time invested in, they just can't fire you. And the classification of my job. See, what was going to happen, I got put on game. And I'm not going to say who put me on game, but I thank this person to this day because that was the only person who kept it 100 with me. He been 100 since day one. And I will always cherish that person from the day that person, me or that person gets buried. And when that person gets buried, I'm going to still honor that person. He put me on game. Because what was going to happen was budget cuts. I was one of 3 on my team who were thinking about getting cut. And what was going to happen is I was going to be reclassed. I was going to be put somewhere else in the agency because I kept getting asked the question of where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? I didn't know. All I knew was that. I didn't know where else I wanted to go. There was no other place or thing that I wanted to do within that agency other than legislation. So what was going to happen? They were going to reclass me. They were going to put me in a different department. Then reclass me, meaning take away my benefits and grievance rights. And then what could happen is be fired within 90 days without me having to grieve, meaning I would also lose my retirement. But I had built up almost 5 years worth of retirement. If you work for state government in the state of South Carolina, you know that you clock in at 5 years, 100% of your retirement, baby. Oh, so I had to play chess. God played chess. God made the chess move for me. Just leave. Go. And I left without a plan. I know nothing about business. My father has owned an HVAC business for over 30 years. Didn't know anything about business. Knew nothing about it. I just knew that I was going to do it. And a person who still, I think, works there at that agency to this day, he said to me, he was like, so what are your plans, Jocelyn? What are you going to do? I hear you're leaving. I can't come to your little pizza party. But what are you going to do? What are your plans? Black man, very intelligent, very smart, making good money. He knows what he's doing. You know, he's great at what he does. And I told him, I'm going to start a business and work for myself. You know, that man laughed at me dead in my face. He said, that's not going to work. You're going to need a job. That's not going to sustain you. You can't, you ain't going to be able to do that. 5 years later, I'm still here. Let me tell you something. I'm having a testimonial moment. Y'all know I beat foreclosure 5 times. That's why I posted what I posted about credit, because I'm going to post you what my credit looks like this day. Beating foreclosure 5 times with having financial help, meaning having to go ask for, hey, can you help me pay this? Because I owe a couple thousand. Can you help us out? Only twice. The other 3 times, by the grace of God, I've made those payments. And I made them. I beat foreclosure 5 times. I was able to sell my house February 2020 on my own merit. January, by my own merit. When God told me I wasn't going to lose my house, I wasn't going to lose my house. And when I bought my house, I said my first home that I mortgage, because buying a home is kind of like, it's mortgage, you're mortgaging your house. You can get mad at me all you want to for saying that. I had to learn that too, because I was dabbling in real estate, investing and wholesaling at the time. Still do a little bit. That still always sits here in the got a special place in my heart. Real estate does. So I always said my first home was going to be my investment property. And it was just that. I got some money off of it. I was able to pay off some debt. I learned about real estate during that time before beating foreclosure 5 times. That's when I learned about mortgage. We'll save that for a different day too. I say all of that to say I went through a lot. My last day, I had a pizza party for myself. It was a Bon Voyage pizza party. And I specifically and intentionally chose that theme. Bon voyage. When you tell a sailor bon voyage or someone who's going off to set off to sea, you're telling them have a good journey. Have a good voyage. Bon, good, voyage, journey. Have a good journey. I bon voyage myself from a place and a safety net that most people wouldn't have done that. I ain't had no plan. I ain't know nothing about no business. Hell, I'm just really learning and really getting my footing in 5 years. You know, one of my classmates from massage school said, it's not going to take you 5 years to turn a profit. I want to say what I want to say, but I'm going to leave that there. Because you ain't massaging. And even then, I had to learn my niche within this industry. Swedish wasn't serving me. Deep tissue wasn't serving me. Y'all know in 2020, I was going to give all this up, go join the military and become an officer. I took the ASVAB and everything. I had a date to be shipped out. Y'all know I'm supposed to be overseas right now? Yeah, I had all that set up. I was going to walk in as a lieutenant. Because I scored that high and I already have a degree. Yeah. I know how much money I was going to make walking in after basic. I was going to walk as a lieutenant. I was going to give all this up until God said, I got something for you. That's how me doing strictly lymphatic drainage came about. Because I initially learned this as a trade, working at a holistic chiropractic clinic when I used to work there. My first gig out of massage school, working part-time, still working my full-time job. I was doing that on the weekends. I learned lymphatic drainage by trade because they're not really teaching it. And they dang sure weren't really teaching how to do it for post-op. They do it for lymphedema, but not for post-op like that. I learned that by trade in 2016. And in 2020, God said, I got something for you, Jocelyn. I got something for you. And he has something for me. Still does. I just got to stick to the plan. I ain't where I want to be, but I'm one step closer to achieving my goal. And in 2021, God let me know, you almost there. So I say all this to say, do it. Do it. And my pizza party was jumping, by the way. And I'm going to confess and say this. My anger and my bitterness. On my last day, I wore my gold teeth. Yeah, I got gold fronts. Sure did. Wore them. And that was my proverbial way of giving a middle finger to what I felt like was a personal attack. Because I saw people who I trusted lie to me in my face that I worked for and I admired. You gonna lie to me in my face? Really? You could have just kept it 100 with me. But out of everyone, I can say the people who showed up to show me they were true, they were true. I even had a then friend at the time. She came off her government job. She worked for the government too. She drove all the way from across town just to show up, just to drop me off an edible arrangement and then leave. I had support. I had love. I still cherish some of the people that I still communicate with. Hey, y'all. I still go to lunch with them. I still go to dinner with them. I still have drinks with them. You know, a couple. It's very few. Handful. I can count on my one hand. Really, I can count on my 3 fingers. I still communicate with some of those folks, but I'm just thankful. So I took almost 20 minutes of your time, if you watch this whole full video, to let you know it is possible. Just do it. Happy 5th anniversary to me. Happy 5th anniversary to me. Y'all know my daddy thought this shit was a joke. I had to cuss and let that fly out. Y'all know my daddy thought I was a joke. Because the first thing he said when I told him I was going to do this, he said, that is the stupidest idea I've ever heard, Jocelyn. And you know what he said to me last year? Well, if you're making money and it's sustaining you, do what you feel like you need to do. He did say that. He don't believe in massages, and he really don't even know fully of what I do. But it doesn't matter. Do what makes your heart feel good. Because one thing he did say to me one time was, I wish I had the opportunity to really chase my dreams and what I wanted to do. And I think his dream is really him doing what he's doing now. But watching him in business over the years has helped me be like, all right, I know what I want. I know what I don't want. I know what I need. I know what I don't need. Just watching it. My mom used to own a salon, a hair salon. Oh, it's in me. The work ethic, the determination, it's in me already. It's in my blood. So if you are in business and you struggling, the struggle be real. We be hurting. Us entrepreneurs are self-employed, but I'm working to not be self-employed. I'm working to be the investor. You know that 4th quadrant that Robert Kiyosaki talks about? Yeah. I work for myself. I'm not a full boss yet. Bosses have employees. I'm the employee. So I still got some steps to make my goals a reality. And I know that. So thank you for your time. As I give thanks for the goodness of the journey. It's been nasty, it's been ugly, but I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. So cheers to 5 years more and then some. But I guarantee you within these next 5 years, I ain't gonna be self-employed. I'm gonna have employees.